going on? I got my guy, Dhafir Smith. You know what I mean? It's like a brother of mine. You know, real knowledgeable brother um, in boxing. So go ahead, introduce yourself, man.
Oh, my name is Dhafir No Fear Smith, former light heavyweight and super middleweight contender, former UBF champ, former USBA champion, former Pennsylvania state champion, ranked number 12 in the world at one time.
It's my guy. So let me ask you a few questions, man, about what's going on currently in boxing. Um, well, firstly, let me ask you what you got going on as far as your fighters. What's going on? Who you training right now?
I'm giving back to the youth. I mean, I got a fighter now that's an Olympic alternate and a two-time national champion at 189. He's ranked number 1 in the country. His name is Dan the Problem Brown.
Okay. And he got something coming up, a fight coming up soon, or anything he got going on?
He got some tournaments, national tournaments coming up in October, November, December. Be busy. We got a busy schedule coming up.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So we're gonna jump into some current boxing. If that's cool. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. If that's cool.
No problem.
So we had a few fights in the past few weeks. I'll start with Crawford just fought Madrimov. A lot of people thought that his performance was kind of lackluster. What do you think about Crawford and Madrimov?
That fight was a good fight. Crawford was off for like over a year, so the ring rust. It's all about staying active and being staying in the ring. It seemed like he was a little rusty in that fight, but I thought he won the fight. He boxed well. He outpointed the guy. It was kind of close, but I thought he pulled it out.
Now, do you think that there was also an issue with Madrimov? He was like that little herky-jerky style. The timing, he had like a weird timing, a weird movements as far as his movements in the ring.
Yeah,
you think that kind of threw him off a little bit?
Yeah, I think he did. He was from overseas, had that Olympic amateur background, over 400 amateur fights. So he was very experienced. I mean, he only had 11 pro fights, and he was a world champion.
Exactly.
So the kid was very awkward, very different, jerky style. So he had to Crawford had to get used to that style they was doing in the early rounds.
Okay. Now Crawford won that fight, and they're saying that there's a possibility that there's going to be some money in place for Crawford to fight Boots next. What do you think about that fight?
That'll be a great fight. That's my nephew. I knew Boots since he was 2 or 3 years old in the gym. I like Boots. I'm going with my nephew. He's a great fighter. He's getting better and better after each fight. He's still learning. I mean, he got a great trainer and his dad, Bozy Ennis. Sky's the limit for him.
Okay. So what do you think Boots will have to do to kind of offset Crawford in that fight? Or what should be a strategy, I should say?
Just his youth. I mean, he's the younger guy. Just staying busy, keeping that jab on him, turning him, spinning him, keeping him thinking with the feints and stuff like that, and putting his combinations together and listening to his dad in the corner.
Okay. So also, there's been some speculation saying that there's no negotiations going on between Tank and Shakur for a possible matchup in November, December. What's your thoughts on that fight if that fight was to happen?
I like Tank on the knockout. Shakur is a great fighter, hell of a boxer, but he ain't got no punching power. If you ain't got no pop, when you in there with Tank, he gonna run right through. He gonna run right through you.
So you're saying the Tank is gonna possibly stop Shakur?
Tank in the later rounds, stoppage.
What you saying, like in between 9 to 12?
I could say 9, 10, 11. I mean, he's a sharp fighter. He's a good fighter.
Okay.
Roll it up. Roll it up right hand. Roll up.
So if you were training, Shakur, what advice, what would you tell him? What would be the game plan to derail Tank's ability, the power, skill, so forth and so on?
That'll be a hard task, but you just gotta be in tip-top shape. Stay focused. Your defense gotta be on point, and you gotta keep using that jab. The jab will keep him off you. You know what I mean? So you gotta keep popping it, turning them, spinning them. You know what I mean? Just don't get on the ropes. Keep them in the middle of the ring.
Okay. Possibly make it a boring fight. I heard someone say they got to make the fight boring.
Yeah. He gotta fight his fight and make it a boring fight. Don't fight with Tank. He's not gonna last long.
Okay, so we had another fight this weekend with Ortiz, who's with Golden Boy. What's your thoughts on that fight, Ortiz? Do you think he won that fight, or what's your thoughts?
Politics, man. Same situation I've been in my career. I thought Ortiz lost. I thought the champion should have won. He got dropped 2 times, and they still gave him the fight. It's the politics of the game. They wanted this. They want to see Ortiz and Terrence Crawford, so they robbed him.
Mm. So, do you think that that fight warrants a rematch?
Yeah, I would do a rematch. He don't deserve no Terrence Crawford.
You think Boy Checkers gonna get that rematch or no?
I hope so. I hope the WBC mandate that, and I hope Belichick trainer demand that rematch.
Okay. Now we got another fight that was actually just announced as well. We got Canelo versus Berlanga. What's your thoughts on that fight?
I think Berlanga got a hell of a chance, puncher's chance, but I think Canelo gonna take him to school. Too much experience.
So what do people? What do you say? What would be your advice for Berlanga going into that fight with somebody like Canelo? What would you say to him if you was his trainer in his corner?
I mean, just to be a smart fighter. You know what I mean? Be able to think in there. This game is chess, not checkers. You know what I mean? You gotta really be able to do certain things in there besides knocking people out. If that's your A game, you got to go to Plan B. So that means you got to go to a different strategy.
Now, what Tank mentioned with the Frank Martin fight, before he knocked Frank Martin out in the press conference, he mentioned that it's probably too soon for you to fight me right now. I mean, if I was you, you should have waited. Is that the same, thing you think as far as Berlanga goes? Maybe he should have waited a while before he took this fight with Canelo.
No, Belanga's been fighting since he was like 7 years old. Frank Martin started late.
Mm-hmm.
I think he might have started teenager. I mean, so Belanga's 22 and 0. I think he had a lot of amateur fights too. Frank Martin didn't have a lot of amateur fights, so I don't think it's too early for Berlanga.
Okay. So, but a lot of people were saying, they're not really giving Berlanga no chance. They were saying he hasn't had a knockout in his last his 6-7 fights. He said he hasn't knocked anyone out. What do you think is the reason for that? For him not being able to stop it? Because he was knocking everybody out in the beginning, and now he can't. He hasn't stopped anyone in a while.
That's because there's levels to this. He was stopping D level fighters and F level fighters. Once he started stepping up the competition, he was going the distance.
Okay. Well, listen, man. Where can people check you out? Where can they find you on Instagram or Twitter? Give me your information where they can find you at.
I mean, I'm only on Facebook, Dhafir Smith. I'm also on Instagram too, Dhafir Smith, on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. My guy.
My man, appreciate you too.